All eyes on Narendra Modi as he gets ready for his maiden trip to the United States as Prime Minister, and almost 10 years after he was denied a US visa. International circles are abuzz with speculation over whether or not Narendra Modi will meet his Pakistani counterpart on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Speaking to ITG's managing editor Rahul Kanwal, India's envoy to the US, Ashoke Mukherjee, ruled out any meeting with Nawaz Sharif.
No, they are not on the same day in New York. The speech of the Prime Minister of Pakistan is on the 26th and our Prime Minister is on the 27th. So I do not think in the speaker's list there is any chance of a meeting in the General Assembly. Well, you know, in the United Nations General Assembly, the Kashmir issue since 1972, since the signing of the Simla Agreement, has been an issue which has been dealt with, as we have always said, bilaterally under the Simla Agreement. We have never ever accepted any role for the United Nations in the issue of Jammu and Kashmir after the signing of the Simla Agreement. And that is what our position will be.
Let's get an word from India Today Group's managing editor Rahul Kanwal. He is in New York tracking developments for us this morning. Good morning, Rahul. What are the preparations now? Narendra Modi set to begin his 4-day US visit today.
Morning, Simi. It's actually late in the night over here. It's more time for me to say good night. Hopefully after this live shot with you. It's been a very long day. And excitement really can be felt. We were at Columbia University this evening speaking to some of the sharpest minds, and what I found truly incredible was a bunch of students who are usually very apolitical, when asked about what they intended to do when they graduated, said because of Prime Minister Modi now being in charge, they are actually wanting to come back to India and help realize his Make in India dream. They said, we came to the United States with the intent and with the hope of settling down over here, working here, as several decades of over the last several decades, that's what Indians have done. But now they're saying Modi is inspiring them to come back and work in the Make in India story to help realize that vision. And that is something truly incredible. So, I mean, for one person to have been able to light such fire, to have been able to inspire so many in different ways, Prime Minister Modi has reached out to these people. So much so that when I asked in Columbia University, how many of you are actually going for the Madison Square Garden event, except for 3 hands, every hand went up. And the 3 who didn't put their hands up are those who wanted to go but didn't get tickets to go to Madison Square Garden. This is something completely unreal. It's never been seen by me. I don't think anybody in India has seen something like this. This will turn out to be an American-style Democrat or Republican convention where you usually have only 5,000 people. Here you'll have about 18,000 shouting Modi, Modi at Times Square. These big screens, we went and checked those out. Those preparations are on as well. The atmosphere here in New York at this time is completely electric. It is almost as if we are gearing up for the biggest rock concert by the reigning pop diva. That's essentially what it feels like. It doesn't feel at all as if here's a politician, and most politicians in India have usually had a very staid image, and that's the way the Indian Neta has been. But this is completely different. Modi is on a different plane and he's inspiring so many people. We've been speaking to senior members of the Indian American community, very successful businessmen here. They've been saying that it's very difficult to do business in India. There are too many regulatory hassles. These people now see me telling us that because we believe in Modi, we want to go back and invest in India, in our native towns or wherever we come from. And that means each of those people, if they actually convert their intent into investment, could essentially help the Prime Minister take those initial steps of the come Make in India dream. It's quite unreal and quite unbelievable, frankly.
Right, and Rahul, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also to address the UN General Assembly while on his US trip. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif also to be present there, but any talks between the two leaders completely being ruled out.
Well, they're not at the United Nations building on the same day. Nawaz Sharif makes his speech on the 26th, which is tomorrow as per your time, and Prime Minister Modi comes in on the 27th, and he's coming in very briefly, just at 10:30 to make his speech. Immediately after that, he leaves. So he's not at the United Nations General Assembly building for very long. I saw, for example, when I was at the UNGA, John Kerry was at the United Nations General Assembly meeting, literally running into world leaders and speaking to them, lobbying with them. And there was a thought here that maybe Prime Minister Modi should have used the opportunity to meet leaders of countries like Germany, Japan, countries like Germany, France, those whom he doesn't meet so frequently, as opposed to the neighbors first policy which he's following even here. Instead, he will meet the heads of state of Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bangladesh, but Nawaz Sharif is not on the cards. It's almost by design done in a way that Nawaz Sharif and Modi are not in the UNGA building on the same day, because they want to avoid the spectre of the whole world coming down hard, saying that they were in the same building, they could have bumped into each other, but they didn't. So essentially, both of them will not be in the building at the same day. The critical question there, Simi, though, is that Nawaz Sharif is likely to raise the issue of Kashmir in a very forceful way, given what happened with the Hurriyat leaders after the High Commissioner in Pakistan, High Commissioner in New Delhi met them, and the decision that Modi took. Nawaz Sharif, from what we are hearing from our sources in the Pakistani establishment, is that Nawaz Sharif will take up Kashmir very forcefully. And now, the level at which Kashmir is placed in the United Nations General Assembly is usually reflective of the level of the relationship between India and Pakistan at that time. Right now, because things are deadlocked, Nawaz Sharif is expected to take that up very forcefully, and the question then is, how will India respond? I put that question to Ashoke Mukherjee, India's permanent representative in the United Nations, and he said, in the UN, our position has always been that Kashmir is a bilateral issue. That's our position in the past, that will be our position this time as well. So I don't think Modi will react and respond too much to what Nawaz Sharif says, but he's expected to take up Kashmir rather forcefully when he speaks on the 26th.